Hi, I'm Corey. My mom, Diana, always had a way of making things seem normal to outsiders. The charming PTA president with her perfect blonde bob and immaculate home. My dad, James, worked long hours at his accounting firm. Then there was my older sister, Megan, who'd escaped to college last year, leaving me alone to navigate the increasingly unstable atmosphere at home. Corey, dinner's ready, Mom called from downstairs, her voice carrying that artificial sweetness she used when my dad was home. I headed down to the dining room, where Dad sat scrolling through his phone, barely looking up as I took my seat. "How was school today?" he asked, the question automatic, hollow. "It was okay. We got our English essays back. I got an A-. Mom placed a plate of pot roast in front of me, her smile tight. "An A-? What happened to the straight A's you used to bring home?" "It's still an A, Mom," I said quietly, poking at my food. "A- is not an A," she corrected, her voice taking on that edge I'd come to recognize. "Jennifer's daughter got into Princeton early decision. What do you think she was bringing home? A-?" Dad finally looked up. "Diana, please, it's an excellent grade." "You always take her side," Mom snapped, the sweetness evaporating instantly. "No wonder she's becoming complacent." "I'm not being complacent," I said, instantly regretting the words. "I worked really hard on that essay." Mom's eyes narrowed. "Clearly not hard enough. Your attitude lately has been—" "Diana," Dad interrupted. "The Johnson account needs attention." He retreated to his home office, his standard escape route. As soon as his door closed, Mom's expression darkened completely. "See what you did?" she hissed. "You've upset your father now." "I didn't do anything," I protested, feeling the familiar knot in my stomach. "Don't talk back to me. Eat your dinner and be grateful I spent hours cooking it." I took a few bites in silence. When I reached for my water glass, my elbow accidentally knocked over the salt shaker. Mom froze, staring at the small pile of salt on the table. Something in her seemed to snap. "You careless, ungrateful child." She stood up suddenly, grabbing my plate. "Mom, I'm sorry, it was just an accident." "If you can't appreciate what I do for you." She raised the plate above her head. "Then you don't deserve to eat at this table." The plate came crashing down, shattering on the floor, food spattering everywhere. Mom's laugh was high and brittle. "If you want dinner, lick it off the floor." Tears welled in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. This wasn't the first time, but something in me decided it would be the last. The next morning, I called my sister Megan from school. "It's happening again," I whispered. "Last night she smashed my plate and told me to eat off the floor." "I thought Dad would step up more," Megan responded tightly. "He just disappears into his office. It's getting worse, Meg. You have Mrs. Patel next door. You have my old counselor, Mr. Rivera, at school. You have options, Corey. But what if no one believes me? You know how Mom is around other people." "Then we'll make them believe. I've been documenting everything since I was 14. I was too scared to use them before, but I'm not anymore. And neither should you be." My best friend Zoe caught my eye from across the cafeteria. I wasn't alone anymore. "Are you sure about this?" Zoe whispered as we sat in the library during study hall. Her dark eyes were wide with worry. "I've never been more sure about anything," I replied, pulling out my notebook. "Look, I've been documenting everything. Dates, times, exactly what was said. Megan taught me how." "That's smart," Zoe nodded. "But Corey, your mom is like the most respected parent at school. People think she's perfect." "That's how she wants it to look," I said. "You've seen how different she is when we're alone." "I still remember that time when I stayed over and she screamed at you for using the wrong detergent. I was so scared I called my mom to pick me up." "And remember what my mom told your parents? That you got homesick," I reminded her. "She always spins a story that makes me look like the problem." Tyler Johnson slid into the chair across from us. "Sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help overhearing. You're finally going to do something about your mom?" I tensed. "What do you mean?" "Come on, Corey. My bedroom window faces your kitchen. I've heard the yelling, the breaking dishes. My parents have too. I didn't realize you knew. We've been friends since we were 7, Tyler said. My mom actually called CPS once, but your mom convinced them everything was fine. Wait, what? I gasped. When? Last year after that night she locked you out and you slept in our backyard hammock. You told your parents you were at my place studying, but my mom saw you. Zoe squeezed my hand. Corey, this is good. If Tyler's parents will back you up. My dad might hesitate, Tyler said. He and your dad are golf buddies, but my mom would definitely support you. I need to talk to Mrs. Patel too, I said. She brought cookies once when Mom was having an episode. Mom slammed the door in her face. What about your sister? Zoe asked. Megan's coming this weekend with all her documentation. We're meeting Mr. Rivera on Monday. Your mom won't take this well, Tyler warned. She'll fight back hard. Let her, I said, surprising myself. She can't intimidate multiple people telling the same truth. After school, I visited Mrs. Patel, who welcomed me warmly. Mrs. Patel, I need to talk to you about my mom. Her smile faded. I've been waiting for this conversation, Beta. Sit down. As we talked, I discovered Mrs. Patel had kept her own records of disturbances. The shouting through open windows, Mom grabbing my arm, Dad's car pulling away during arguments. Why didn't you say anything? I asked. I tried once. I called your father. He told me your mother was under stress, seeing someone for help. I wanted to believe him. She's not seeing anyone, I confirmed. She refuses to admit there's a problem. Mrs. Patel took my hand. What changed, Corey? Why now? Because I'm tired of being afraid in my own home, I said simply. And because I finally realized I'm not alone. By the time Megan arrived that weekend, I had statements from Zoe, Tyler, Mrs. Patel, and my former piano teacher. I'm impressed, Megan said as we spread the documents across her bed. You've been busy. I learned from the best, I smiled. What did you bring? Megan pulled out a flash drive. 4 years of documentation, plus advice from my psychology professor. Do you think it will be enough? It has to be. We're not just doing this for you, Corey. We're doing it for Dad, too. He's as trapped as we are, just differently. He still enables her, I pointed out. Yes, but from fear, not malice. Mom's voice echoed up the stairs. Girls, dinner's ready. We exchanged glances. The same dinner table where plates had been smashed. Ready for one more performance? Megan asked quietly. I nodded. One last time. After Monday, everything changes. Monday afternoon, I sat in Mr. Rivera's office with Megan beside me. Our evidence spread across his desk. His expression grew increasingly grave. This is extensive, he finally said. You've both been very thorough. We had to be, Megan replied. Our mother is very convincing. Mr. Rivera nodded. I've met your mother many times. I would never have guessed. I'm obligated as a mandated reporter to contact Child Protective Services. Are you prepared for what happens next? I took a deep breath. Yes. What exactly will that be? They'll conduct an investigation, interview you, your parents, possibly neighbors and friends. It won't be easy, Corey. She's always upset, I said flatly. At least this time there's a reason. Mr. Rivera's phone buzzed. It seems we won't have to wait. Your mother is in the main office right now, demanding to know why you haven't come home. My stomach dropped, but Megan squeezed my hand. Perfect timing. Let's talk to her here, where she can't control the narrative. Minutes later, Mom burst into the office, her composure already slipping. What is the meaning of this? She demanded, then froze when she saw the papers. Her eyes darted between us. What's going on here? Please sit down, Mrs. Harrison, Mr. Rivera said calmly. We need to discuss some concerns about Corey's home situation. Concerns? What concerns? Corey, what lies have you been telling? I met her gaze. No lies, Mom, just the truth. About the plate you smashed. About telling me to eat off the floor. About all of it. Color drained from her face. That was You deliberately provoked me. You know how hard I work to provide for this family, to keep everything perfect, and you just... Mom, Megan interrupted. Stop. This isn't just about last week. This is about years of behavior. We have documentation. Mom's laugh was brittle. Documentation? Of what? A mother trying to raise her daughters to have high standards? Of emotional abuse, Mr. Rivera said firmly. Mrs. Harrison, I'm required to file a report with Child Protective Services. Mom's eyes widened. This is ridiculous. I've done nothing but sacrifice for my children. Corey, tell him the truth. I am telling the truth, I said steadily. For the first time, I'm not hiding what happens at home. After everything I've done for you, she hissed. This is how you repay me? By trying to destroy our family? This isn't about your reputation, Megan snapped. It's about Corey's safety. Mom turned on her. I expected this kind of betrayal from you, Megan. Always the difficult one. But to drag your sister into your vendetta against me? I came to Megan, I interrupted. Not the other way around, because I couldn't take it anymore. Mom's strategy shifted instantly, tears filling her eyes. Corey, honey, if you felt this way, why didn't you just talk to me? We could have worked through this as a family. The familiar manipulation made my stomach turn. You smashed a plate and told me to lick food off the floor. How is that what's best for me? You're taking that completely out of context, she protested, looking to Mr. Rivera. It was one incident. I was stressed. You never apologize, Mom, I said firmly. Ever. Her expression hardened. Fine. If this is the game you want to play, understand what you're risking. Our family will be torn apart. Before I could answer, Dad walked in, looking confused and worried. James, Mom exclaimed, rushing to him. Thank goodness. The girls are making terrible accusations. We called him, Megan interrupted. I texted Dad from Mr. Rivera's phone. He deserves to hear this too. Dad looked around the room. Hear what? Diana, what's happening? They're saying I'm abusive, Mom spat. That I'm some kind of monster. Mr. Rivera stood up. Mr. Harrison, your daughters have presented concerning evidence about their home environment. Dad's eyes fell on the papers, the photographs, the statements. What is all this? The truth, I said simply, about what happens when you hide in your office. As Mr. Rivera explained the situation, Mom's expression changed from desperate to furious. She grabbed her purse. I will not sit here and be ambushed like this. James, we're leaving now. When Dad didn't immediately move, she stormed toward the door, turning back for one final blow. If you do this, Corey, don't expect to come home. You've made your choice. You're no daughter of mine. As the door slammed behind her, the room fell silent. Then Dad spoke, his voice hollow. I think you'd better show me everything. 3 months later, I sat with Dr. Winters, the family therapist who'd been working with us since the intervention. The custody arrangement gave Dad primary physical custody while Mom had supervised visitation, contingent upon her participation in therapy and anger management. How has this week been? Dr. Winters asked gently. Better, I replied honestly. Dad and I had dinner together every night. He's actually learning to cook. And how about your visit with your mother yesterday? Different. She still gets that look sometimes, like she's biting back what she really wants to say, but she stayed calm. That's progress, Dr. Winters nodded. And how are you feeling about everything now? Relieved, mostly. Sometimes guilty, but Megan helps with that. She reminds me that we didn't create this situation. We just finally addressed it. Dad entered, taking the seat beside me. Sorry I'm late. You're right on time, Dr. Winters assured him. We were discussing progress. Dad glanced at me. There's been a lot of that, thanks to Corey's courage. After the session, we walked to the car together in comfortable silence. Mrs. Patel invited us for dinner, Dad said. She made your favorite curry. I smiled. That sounds nice. Tyler's family will be there too, he added casually. Dad had come to appreciate our support network these past months. Dad, do you ever wish I hadn't said anything? That we'd just kept going as we were? He was quiet so long I thought he might not answer. No, he finally said firmly. I wish I'd been the one to say something. Years ago, I failed you and Megan by pretending everything was fine. I'm sorry for that. You're making up for it now, I assured him. When we arrived at Mrs. Patel's, the house was warm and fragrant. Zoe and her parents were there too, along with Tyler's family and Megan. Surprise visit, she grinned, hugging me. Couldn't miss Mrs. Patel's cooking. As everyone gathered around the table, Tyler slid into the chair next to mine. How was therapy? He asked quietly. Productive, I replied. Mom's actually trying now that she has no choice. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? I considered the question seriously. I don't know. Maybe someday. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or putting myself back in a harmful situation. It just means I won't let anger control my future. Later, Mom texted me, something unthinkable months ago. I'm sorry for everything. I know words aren't enough. I'm working to be better. I showed the text to Megan, who read it with raised eyebrows. Progress, she admitted. Do you want to respond? Not yet, I decided. I'm still figuring out what I want to say. As we walked home under the stars, Dad put his arm around my shoulders. Proud of you, Corey, he said simply. I leaned into his embrace, thinking about everything that had happened since that night when a shattered plate changed everything. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. True healing never is. But for the first time, I was walking that road on my terms, surrounded by people who respected my boundaries and valued my voice. Some might call what happened revenge. I prefer to think of it as justice, not the satisfaction of hurting someone who hurt me, but the peace that comes from finally breaking a destructive cycle and building something better from the pieces. Have you ever had to stand up for yourself against someone who should have been protecting you? It takes courage I never knew I had. But the alternative, staying silent, was no longer an option. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is tell your truth, no matter how others might try to silence it.